everyone, this is Lisa Andrus, Psychic Medium, and this is your weekly reading for November 9th to the 15th. And this week, as you can see, I've got two decks. The primary reading is done with the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. And I added an accent card from the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. What I love about that deck is that it's got yes and no cards and very direct angel answers. So I have shuffled and pre-drawn the cards to save time, and let's see what this week has in store. Ooh, it's a good card, and it's soulmates. And I have to be honest, when I flipped it over, I saw it was 44 seconds in the reading, and to me 44, and by Angel Numbers by Doreen Virtue says there's angels all around you. And because I saw that at the moment that I flipped this card, I see that there have been angels behind the scenes working on bringing you together with a soulmate. Now, if it's not romance that you seek, it could be a soulmate of a friend or some other relationship in your life. But for those of you looking for romance, this really looks positive. They're directing my line of vision to the face in the clouds. And I honestly feel like that's Mother Mary. And I feel all of this golden light that is being showered on the situation. So if you've been praying for love, your prayers are about to be answered. What they're saying to me is you couldn't figure out how if you tried, so stop trying and stop trying to force. Take guided action. If you feel like going to a speed dating event or something, or signing up on Match or whatever dating website, then this is a sign that maybe that's where you're going to find your soulmate. And if not, one of the things that you need to do, if you're looking for love, is leave the house. You're not going to, Prince Charming or your perfect person is not going to come and knock on your door. Sometimes you need to leave the house to meet people. They're asking me to tell you that I did an event all weekend, 2 days of back-to-back readings. So several, I would say probably about 25 readings throughout the weekend. And many times the readings have a theme. In fact, I went out to dinner last night after our event with some other mediums and psychics. And it's funny because we were talking about how our readings do have themes. And my theme of the weekend was really psychic development. And you might ask yourself, what does psychic development have to do with a soulmates card? Well, if you've been feeling guided to, let me say this, if you feel like your intuition is kind of, I want to say nagging at you because you know that your senses are heightened and you've been thinking about what can I do about this, think about taking a psychic development class. Now, if you've been looking for a friend, that might be some place that you meet a friend, or maybe you could stand some new friends that you could talk to about this. But you never know what would happen. Maybe you won't find romance there, but maybe you'll meet somebody who knows somebody, and so on and so forth. It kind of goes back to the getting out of the house. So not only would you be doing something for your soul, but you might find some soulmates, some new friends, because they're also showing me a reading that I did with somebody, actually my last reading today. And I have to say, this person had awesome energy. And we were talking about, hey, have you thought about going to a psychic development class? And I got a picture in my head of my friend Kayla, who some of you may know, Kayla Michelle. She's, I have to say, one of my favorite friends. And I met her in my first psychic development class, or one of my first. And I was laughing last night saying that I walked in and she kind of crossed her arms and sized me up. And I thought to myself, I knew, looking at me like, what are you doing here? And I just knew that we would be friends. And it's not that it happened instantly, but one of the best things that I got, not only were several friends that I still know to this day, and that was 2007, but I made some lifelong friends. and did at one point meet somebody that I did date in the class as well. So it's funny to me how soulmates, if you've been thinking about taking some sort of class, whether it is a beginning psychic development class, whether it is a continuing education class, or even going back to school, or they really want to draw my attention to classes for healing psychics, mediums. If this is something you've been thinking about, like they want me to say I'm going to a class in a couple of weeks, hey, you never know. I don't know what I'm looking for right now, or if that I'm even looking for anything. But that's the thing, is we have to pay attention to the synchronicities and what might occur if we just go as we're guided. Ooh, they also want me to say to you, I signed up for this class that I'm going to actually in England at the Arthur Findlay College, and it's a class for mediums, and I signed up over a year ago when I got back from another class in the United States. And I just knew I was supposed to go. And I nearly canceled it a couple of times. And the one thing that kept me going was just following my intuition and knowing I was supposed to go. So they want to say, if you're going out to something, whether it's a class, whether it's a speed dating event, whether it's something, say, okay, they want me to say that you have to be your own date sometimes. So if you've been thinking about going out to see a band or something else you want to do, boat show, car show, you never know what might happen and who you might meet as long as you follow your intuition. Okay? Here's what we have in the midst of the week, and it's chaos and conflict. Now I have to tell you, when I was shuffling this deck, this card popped out at me. And somehow I know when cards pop out at me when I'm shuffling, they're going to show up in the reading. And sure enough, I couldn't do it if I tried. It pops up in the middle of our reading. And I don't know about you, but when I saw the card the first time it popped out, I went, oh, a groan. Because nobody likes to get cards like this that you would think maybe is a bad message. But what I'm getting about this is that sometimes the midst of chaos and conflict is an opportunity for you to self-invent or reinvent, to give you a blank slate. Like if you have a relationship that's ending, a job that's ending, some sort of chaos where it feels like your life is falling apart, maybe it's to bring you something better. So stay true to it and ride it out, because I feel honestly that if it really feels chaotic and conflict bound now, that it's really on the cusp of something brand new. And they say that there's also a meaning for this card, that if you've had a chaotic time in the last however so many years, the chaos and conflict, if it hasn't already dissipated, they want you to know that if you're waiting for the other shoe to drop because you've really, things have kind of been not so great, and, that it's not going to be as bad as it was ever again. Look at that soulmate card. There are really, really good things on the way. Okay? And here's what we have for the weekend. Exchanging gifts. And this card really is about giving and receiving. And knowing that when you give of yourself to the universe, when you do things selflessly, and that might be doing something like giving readings to help people, but maybe it's just doing something like paying for the person behind you in line at the supermarket or at the coffee. Or I live in an apartment building where there's like carts, grocery carts, and a lot of people are lazy about bringing them back. And sometimes I'll just bring them back because I think it's nice for me to have a cart when I have a car full of groceries that's right there. What they want to say about that is all of those little things that you've done are about to pay off for you. And to wait for the blessings that you've really, they want to say that they respect your patience, but know that these things are seen and heard, and they appreciate the love and the tenderness within each and every one of you, even if it's hard for you to sometimes show. But know that all of your abundance is about to pay off because you've been such a giving person. And there is another message to this card too, which it may be, let yourself receive. If you do everything for everybody else and you never take some time for yourself, or you never make time to do something like whatever it might be for yourself, read a book, get a manicure, go out to have some fun with your friends, know that you have to do something for yourself to balance out the scales of giving and receiving. And that's a way to help, manifest the gifts and the abundance that you're looking for. All right, let's see what our final card of the week here is. And it says, look for a sign. So what they're saying this means is, if you feel like you've been looking for a sign or you've asked for a sign, this might be it. But really, what I get the message is that with this is ask your angels for clear signs if you haven't received any. And honestly, what I just heard was pick up the phone. There could be so many meanings to that, but what they're saying is they're trying to communicate with you. And sometimes those ideas that you've been getting in your head are messages. They want to also say that if you're trying to figure out if it's heavenly guidance you're receiving, one way to know is if you hear a we love you, we think this. It's usually then your angels. The I don't think so. That's usually you. And the angels would never say anything critical. So if you hear something critical, it's probably you. They want you to know, though, that they've been sending you signs. So something that you think that is a sign probably is. And they want to get back to the pick up the phone. Some of you watching this really do have some intuitive gifts. And when they say pick up the phone, it means that you have a talent and a gift that you can pick up the phone and maybe talk to heaven or talk to the angels. And it would really benefit you to think about honoring that, because not only have you been feeling like discontent, but developing it or at least finding out about it might help you. And in closing, I feel like they want to say, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. So don't try to do too much. They want me to give you for instance, I am going on a trip and need to record a couple of the readings ahead of time. But I wanted to do maybe more tonight. And they told me no. Just take care of yourself right now. You know, when you do readings all day long, it can be exhausting. And what happens is, for me, I come home and ground myself, usually with food. And so I just had a good bit of food. I took myself a little bath, and I got some of the energy back that was depleted from just the giving and receiving of energy when I'm doing readings. It takes a lot out when you're doing back-to-back-to-back readings. And so this is another reading, and you know what they're saying is this is about all that I have left. Not only energetically, but to serve others. And that's not to concern you. It just means that what I have to do and what they're encouraging you to do is honor your body, honor your limits, and try not to push beyond them, because those are the times when you usually, you might have a regret that you pushed too hard. And many of you do push too hard. I think that's what we're inclined to do as human beings sometimes, and givers. You are all wonderful, beautiful people. I love, and they're pointing at me, the soulmates card. And that means to me that there's something good in store, whether or not you can see the evidence right now. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in with me week after week. I love you all, and I'll speak to you again next week.